Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Your Big Music Moment, our live stream happy hour every day at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're in for a real treat today with Birds and Arrows, but first, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Better. Better is a wellness brand focused on harnessing natural ingredients to encourage a healthier lifestyle and promote sustainability. Follow them at Feel Better on Instagram and Facebook. We've got some links below. Check them out. Big music. We're a home for emerging artists, and our goal is to support them in their endeavors and give them a stage where they can connect with new fans, receive some support, and share some amazing live music with us, and help with the sponsors who are helping them provide this stage. So we're excited to be a place where artists can come and congregate and play, and where sponsors can come and join them. We had a great session yesterday with Brax Cutchins from Los Angeles. He played some very amazing soulful music. And we're here today with Birds and Arrows from Tucson, loosely associated creatively with Brax and a great extension. And we're looking forward to hearing from them today. And here we are. Welcome, guys. We're thinking maybe let's just... thanks again to Better, and let's just start with a little bit of music, and then we'll get into some chatting.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
All right, you ready, babe?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Casa El Crasho, risking it all to get by. This country doesn't want me, I'm giving it. I'm packing it up, stacking it high. Tied it all down. Oh, loaded. Cast Iron Road and Orange Grove, both roads closed on the 10. Rich people stare at the giants up there, tied face down to the couch. They won't bring me down. I'm leaving this old town. Oh, 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 oh. Open gate, snoring place. Cast my fate when I'm home, when I'm home, when I'm home. Brake lights on the freeway, painting the white lines red. Thought it would be better making money, sending letters, but working hard ain't enough. People passing me by, the American dream. Now I'm fleeing the scene. Dogs, they don't care, but the federal they stare. Oh, open gate, snoring place. Cast my fate when I'm home, when I'm home. Open gate, open place. Cast my fate when I'm home, when I'm home, when I'm home. Open gate.
Nice. That was great. That end sounds like the ending of that song jams. I'm sure you're eager to have like amps turned up and a real drum kit again.
Yeah, a little bit. We miss the live setup.
So you guys are Birds and Arrows. Andrea Connolly and Pete Connolly, welcome. I was just also informed that Brax Cutchin, I mispronounced his name last time, uh,
Wait
so
a
now
minute.
we're there. There's no S and or Z on the end of that, so sorry, buddy. Um, so you guys are in Tucson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there, before we get into the music, so what would Cinco de Mayo normally be like in Tucson? Would it
Oh,
be pretty crazy?
Well,
I mean,
I think there would be a cross between the bros from the university donning sombreros and drinking Mexican beer,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know,
and then authentic celebration.
and then
Right.
real celebration.
Yeah,
Right.
a
So
little bit.
culturally appropriative and then culturally proper mixed
Yeah,
together.
It actually be this coming together of the two.
Right. Which is kind of, yeah, that's kind of a lot of what goes on in this place. But anyway, so you guys have had quite a journey. So you're here, you're doing music, you're a married couple. How did this happen?
Yeah, it. We went through a good amount to make it happen,
Yeah.
but we did. When we first met, I was actually married when I met Pete, and Pete was recently divorced. But we were just the magnetic, I don't know, force between the two of us was so strong that it was pretty much, it felt, there's only like maybe been 2 or 3 moments in my life where it felt like something beyond me was telling me that this was the right thing to do. And one of those things was meeting Pete. And that was now 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so we've been playing music together and in a band for 14 years. So that's how long Birds and Arrows has been a thing. And we've been married for
Coming on
12.
12, right? You know, you look at me every day.
Right. Yes. We know that's a malleable number from our pre-conversation. So in terms of, so you guys, I mean, this is a big deal because, I think a lot of people who are sheltering right now in place with their families, significant others, whoever else, they're realizing that, there's intimacy and then there's like all the time intimacy.
Yeah.
And those are two different things. And, and one thing, we all know as musicians, producers, engineers, whatever, creating something together is that's a very close experience. You see people at their best, at their worst, their most frustrated.
True.
They have to feel comfortable to have their guard down to express their ideas with each other, but they also have to be comfortable to know the other person's going to say, you know what, that's not really very good.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways. And how does that, play out in you guys' relationship? Or how do you collaborate and write songs, with also then figuring out what you're going to have for dinner and what kind of car insurance to buy?
Yeah, totally. Well, kind of ironically, the whole quarantine thing is not that much different for us.
No.
Right.
We spend a lot of time together because we're involved in different aspects just besides the music. We're doing other stuff together.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have separate things we do, but honestly, the quarantine hasn't affected us that much. But
we are together.
I don't know. It's funny how we get along as far as creating together. I know a lot of husband and wife can't do anything creative together because
I think
it causes friction. But
I think one thing that helps that we really trust each other a lot, and I think
true.
trust is a big deal. I think if you're creating with someone that you don't trust, you can't let go of control because you're worried it's not going to be as good as you would want it to be. And with Pete and I, both of us respect each other as artists and musicians as much as we respect each other as our romantic partnership. So I think that I trust him so much with an idea and we both trust each other. If I bring him an idea and he's like, that's really awesome, but why don't you try this? Instead of feeling like he's criticizing my idea, I know deep down he wants it to be as good as possible too. Like it doesn't feel, like
we never play each other against each other with the
No.
creative stuff.
Right.
It's just we don't go there at all.
Yeah,
Never have.
I think it's just
Yeah.
because we both want it to
Yeah.
be good, and we both know, we know each other. I think now after, almost 15 years of playing music together and being in a relationship too, it's even next level. And every milestone we pass, even relationship wise, we see our music and our art grow too in that way. And so it's just everything's feeling like it's becoming more mature and more interactive in this unspoken way. Whereas before it used to feel a little more like we were in, uncharted waters or something. We were trying to figure out how to do it.
It's so second nature now.
Whereas now we don't really, have to think about it. Now, obviously that's not saying that we don't have days where, we're more sensitive than others and the criticism hits, and we're like, oh, not having it. I mean, that happens, but for the most part, deep down, we know that that we both really, really respect each other as artists and as people. So
That's great. It must give the audience a way to connect with you, especially, for those of us who are, in long-term relationships. You don't, the rock and roll role models out there are all lone wolves, it seems like, or they're all these collectives that have come together, but there's no like, who do you identify with, who's the duo that's a lone wolf, together.
Right.
And so that's kind of you guys. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel like playing next?
How about we do, we're going to do a song that we wrote, one of our first songs we wrote here in Tucson. And we thought it'd be appropriate for today because it's sort of this, when we moved out here, we had never toured the Southwest very much, just a little bit on cross-country things. But we were frequenting LA and Tucson, obviously our hometown, and Phoenix. And so this sort of, we used a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek feeling of this one about how it felt coming from being a Southerner and being on that East Coast to being in the Southwest and being exposed to LA and Tucson. And it's a pretty hip vibe out here. So this is called All Souls Sell Out.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 4.
Nobody dresses down. It's hard to find a southerner's ground. Glass snap pearl, 'cause you're a vintage girl. It's all wearing me out. Used to living without. Strange confession, all souls procession sell out. See right through the champagne suit, but I wanted to look good on you. Allowed this long, half my life is gone. all souls possession sell out. Santa Cruz to plastic shoes. The years are wearing me out. And from rock and roll to tortured soul, the years are wearing me down. Used to living without strange confession, all souls possession sell out. Used to living without strange confession, all souls possession sell out. All right,
Great. You want to just roll right into another one?
let's do it.
Nice. What's this one called?
This is called Truth or Consequences, and we wrote this one recently on a trip through New Mexico. And we just released this. This is our new single, and we've got a video out for it that we also recorded ourselves. Another art form a collaborative art form we dabble in is video, just mainly for visual creativity. And so we went out into the desert and we find abandoned places and wait till we're kicked out, or and we shoot video there together. And so this next one is pretty much about our lifestyle and how our choices seem a little crazy, but it's what's right for us. So
Awesome.
very fitting for right now in this pandemic, actually, lyrically.
Beautiful.
Moonlight floods the canyon walls. Wind picks up and rain begins to fall. Hissing stones blow under cottonwoods. Infinite darkness, fear misunderstood. But I'm alive and will survive these restless times. And when we die, our souls will find that fire in all that dark and cold. Robert Wagner framed in gold, bought at lying dead until we're old. But I don't care as long as I'm with you. 'Cause I'm alive. And we'll survive these broke-ass times. And when we die, money won't matter, it's that we try. Sometimes our life, it feels so unreal, like a game show we know we're never gonna win. We wake up and we do it all again. Travel expenses, come back to our senses, somewhere in truth or consequences. Driving through this many Las Vegas town, old motel signs barely lit now. Easy rider film locations at fire stations. Get your motor running, let's head out on the highway. 'Cause I'm alive. And we'll survive these dramatic times. When we die, our souls will burn out like neon in the night. And we'll shine. We'll be fine. 'Cause we're alive. We're
Wow, that was amazing. That was very beautiful. I mean, talk about a big music moment.
Oh,
Thank you guys for sharing that with us. That's really cool.
yeah, it's hard not to get a little emotional playing that one, but it's good.
That's really beautiful. I would argue that you might have won the game show if your life consists of being able to play a song like that.
Oh, thank you. We'll take that.
To reference the lyric. Wow, that's amazing. It's also on a technical. It's a pretty deep lilting groove that you guys managed to keep tamped down and energetic at the same time.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
That's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you.
And keep
Yeah,
it consistent.
with that one, it's a slow burn.
Especially with a box and another box.
Oh yeah, we got the kick drum.
They sound good. And the high end on this one gives it a lot of
Yeah,
a little bit of snare,
This
tom
is like
action.
a snare in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
And
yeah.
you were saying that you what make of cardboard boxes do you prefer?
I go with the Lowe's
The
from
Lowe's, nice.
Yeah.
Improvement.
U-Haul,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that's too alt pop.
that's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well, we actually are in the process of moving during all this craziness.
ah,
Another thing, and in itself, but the exciting news is that we recently found out that the place that we rent here has sold, but that led us into the possibility of finding a place of our own to buy, which we thought was impossible, especially. We are an LLC in our own business, and you never know how that's going to look on paper. But but yeah, we were able to pull it off, and we're buying a home in South Tucson. So the reason why I was laughing earlier is our cat Warren keeps wanting to visit and jump on the kick drum, and I
Warren is
can't hold him down.
Warren's an amazing. He should, he can come whenever he wants.
He loves to be a part of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's well. So speaking of congratulations on buying your house, I think that's a good time to mention that everyone should go. We got some links below. Donate and tip to you guys' efforts. I think that right now times are, for musicians, obviously very tough
Yes.
because it was the live gigs ended up being after CD sales plummeted. It was just live music that kind of gave everyone this possibility of existing, and now that's gone, and that's why we're doing this. And also, thank you to Better Energy. Visit feelbetter.com and
Yeah.
order some CBD energy drink too.
We're about to get ours tomorrow. They just texted us or messaged us before, and
Nice.
they really wanted us to have it in time for the performance. But we get it tomorrow, so we can't wait to try it.
Great. All right. Well, we'll look for a social media shout out if it
Yeah.
met with expectations. So I'm sure they'd be appreciative. They're a great company, so it's cool to have them. Cool to have them involved. And also there's a promo code Big Music, just BYGMusic, so you can get free shipping with that. But back to art, which is what's so exciting for all of us. One thing you guys kind of touched on a little bit was this background, or not background, but this, and we're finding it in a lot of these interviews with artists are really kind of calibrated around visual art as well as music, and there's a lot of synergy. I mean, Keith Richards went to art school. That's where his background was from. But for you guys, you were mentioning that's part of what kind of drives your collaboration in other respects as well. So tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, you want to start there?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been a fine artist for forever, and Andrea is a graphic artist. So we kind of can combine our skills. I can do the fine art. Andrea can do all the cool stuff I can't do computer wise and also idea wise. And we do things like make all our record album covers together and other stuff. And I have my separate art business and stuff, and we've collaborated on other stuff like
we did a whole series of children's books for inner city schools in Baltimore and New Orleans and Detroit, which was really cool. We collaborated with a nonprofit out of Baltimore, Maryland, and my family's all from Baltimore. I'm originally from Virginia, and that meant a lot to us. Where we did a whole series of learning books for kids, and we were able to interject our own cultural drawings and things that meant something to us. Whether it was, I think it was around the Breaking Bad time, so we interjected some Breaking Bad references, some musical references, some things that we love into these children's books that no one would ever pick up on. But that was
wait. So you put Breaking Bad into a children's book?
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
We may have done that.
Yeah. Okay. That's a little bit of that rebellious rock and roll spirit right there. That's awesome. So in that process, so as you guys work together on art, so you might work on the same piece, but you work on a piece. You do the drawing or whatever media you use, and then it switches over to your media.
Yeah.
And
because he's so amazing. I mean, he can, as far as his fine art goes, he's been drawing since he can remember. And, he can do, if I can say, okay, I need an
anatomically correct drawing of a horse. He could just sit down and come up with that. And then what's great is that gives me, I would never be able to do that on my own. And then I can come in, and I love layout, colorization, style, like giving it style, giving it, so we kind of, that works well for our art too. And Pete he's never really learned how to,
it's pathetic.
Technology is not his jams at all, but he can work a photocopier like no one's business.
Yeah, look out.
Look out.
I remember those days with the photocopier art. You could,
those days are still these days for Pete. You should see, even during a pandemic, there's times where Pete, in FedEx Kinko's, they only allow 5 people, and one of them is Pete at a copier with mask and gloves on.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way he knows how to do some of his art. So
nice. Well, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So you guys, and do you guys also use fine art or visual art as inspiration for songs and writing?
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's funny. It usually, most of the time, I'd say it goes the other way around, where the songs come first and then the visual ideas come next.
Like in a video.
Okay.
Like in a video situation or an album art situation, like we've already sort of thought of. But every now and then we'll come up with the concept of an album art or idea or a album name idea before the album's even written, and that'll guide us as far as where our energy's going.
Aesthetics.
Yeah, and our aesthetics and why we're feeling that way. Where did that come from? How can we make that sort of real?
It seems like creativity, you need some guardrails, The worst thing for creativity is like, oh, I can do anything I want. Like,
for sure.
Then what do you do? Yeah.
Right. Then I'm going to make the universe literally over again.
It's true. It's true.
It's some kind of constraint is good.
We've become better artists, I think, because of our limitations as far as, financially, maybe it's financially, maybe it's equipment, maybe it's just that we're a 2-piece and we're trying to figure out ways to make our sound, and we love rock and roll. So how can we make a rock and roll sound with 2 people? Okay, well, let's
open tuning.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I slowly, I got this Gretsch as a gift from my brother-in-law, Pete's sister's husband, Bill, who's wonderful. And he gifted this to me, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was a guitar. I've always had Tellys, and I have my Jazz Master. I've never had a hollow body guitar. And then all of a sudden, because I was put in this situation with a guitar I'd never really expected to have, it just really changed my perspective in playing and sound. I started to play with feedback a lot more. I started to play with more open tunings, being like as more of a gnarly kind of rough sound, and then I string it with like really thick strings on the bottom, really slinky strings at the top, and all that never would have happened if I had a full band with amazing.
Right, because the bass player would be irritated that you're stepping on his territory.
Oh my gosh! And yes. Our dear friend Robert back in North Carolina that I told you about, there was moments like that too, when he would sit in with us and I'd start to find the sound and he's like, okay, do you even need me?
Right. Maybe not, bro. No. Just kidding. That's, actually, there's, the 6-string, the Barry guitars and stuff, that there's a lot of options when you take away that fighting in the bottom end.
Yeah,
for the guitar. It's really cool.
And it just made us sort of think too. It really cleared up the pathway for Pete's drum sound as well, because Pete takes a lot of pride in his tunings and his sound of his drums, and so with just the 2 of us, because we're so harmony based, it cleared out a lot of frequencies for our voices to shine through, and his drum kit to really carry tones. Whereas usually drum kits are just thought of as a rhythmic instrument, and that's that, and they're just there to add volume. And Pete's is like a musical instrument for sure. Obviously not today. We're working with our new.
This is the Lowe's version of that.
The Lowe's version, sponsored.
Yeah.
We need a new sponsor.
Feel better.
Well, look at what you can do in hip hop with a simple drum loop, and a vocal and some tiny melodic thing, and then you get a rock band together and everyone's got to put 50 layers on top,
Exactly.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
So it's great. We could talk forever.
Yeah.
This has really been a pleasure. But why don't we play some more music for everyone?
Yeah.
Um,
Our last song here, we're releasing this single coming up in at the end of the month. It's Gemini season, so we're about to release our song called Gemini. And I have to give a quick shout out to our friends here in Tucson. Gabriel Sullivan, who owns Dust and Stone Studio here in Tucson. He has really been a magic ingredient for Pete and I as far as production and ideas go. And he comes in and we come in with all these thoughts and ideas and collaborate, and you'll see the results as these singles come out. And then our friend Ben Nisbet, who is playing lead guitar on this. And we really, Pete and I, we have visions of albums and songs, and we're like, this moment on that Stones record, can you conjure that? And Ben's like, yes, I can. So
nice.
he really was wonderful. So on Gemini, get ready for some really some good rock and roll.
Awesome.
So this is Gemini. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Getting shorter, making me feel old. And everybody's out there trying to bear their true soul. It ain't real. Words are coming at me like a shotgun spray. But I'm not afraid of dying, so there's nothing you can say that I can't take. So strong, girl, you got it wrong. The stars and the earth can give you worth. No, if my light's too bright, then cover your eyes. I'm not gonna fake it, just so you can take it. If you think you know me, take it. Going down, going down, down, going down. Feeling strong, I know it turns me on. And all my thoughts are long, long, long gone. If my light's too bright, you better cover your eyes. 'Cause I'm not gonna fake it, just so you can take it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. And, we look forward to having you back real soon. This is great.
Thank
You
you
guys
so much
are,
for having us, Chris. We
Thank you.
really
yeah,
appreciate
really, really wonderful experience. So, we will all be in touch. Everyone, remember, we've got some music coming out from Birds and Arrows, so go check it out. Go listen to it. Please go donate
Yes.
and help all of this continue. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Um,
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Wow, what a really good one. That was some heartfelt music from Birds and Arrows. I'd like to thank Better once again. Go visit feelbetter.com and order some CBD energy drink. Use the promo code BIGMusic. We'd also like to shout out to musicians on call. They bring the healing power of music to people who need it to get better and to keep and extend their lives. Great organization. And as always, see us here every day at 5 p.m. Pacific. And tomorrow we've got Shane Alexander. It's going to be an amazing show. Live to listen, everybody.